Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, innovating, and amazing Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, the one and only Master Propaganda Heroes like Defender of the Fatherland Officer 1v1 on Taranto Coastline. Just like a big truck or something going around outside, and I was like, just the aircraft, I was like, did they improve the sounds? It's just a truck. It's like, it's a truck. Anyways, we got here Lemon with the second Fallschirmjäger Division going in hard here versus JBquib with the 7th Armored Division and some Australians here. Right here with the new patch. As always, big hearty thanks to my patron supporters for the continued generous, wonderful support. Keeps making all these videos possible. Thanks for their heroic efforts. And a big thanks for commenting and liking on the videos. Outside immensely with the YouTube algorithm keeps the cat from binding off my fingers. Mostly. So, new patch. Did a bunch of stuff, probably not as much as I like in certain areas. For example, I still feel like sappers and Australians need to be looked at, amongst other things. And while they did buff the Fallschirm pioneers, it's not really in a way I thought was particularly useful. I mean, they buffed the MD-15, but from personal experience, I don't really feel like that buff makes much of a difference. Maybe I need to play more with it. Also buffed MP-40s for the Grenadiers, which also can't really say feels like much of a difference. The Panzer Grenadier buff. I might need some more time with that one. So there's just some of the initial thoughts there, though they also pushed Greyhound Rush back right into the meta game, so that definitely for me at least feels like a step backwards. Drifting to the minefield up, sappers moving forward here for the British Empire with the Sten guns, the Mark II Grenadiers for Lemon. Ready there with their Kar-90K, bolt action rifles. There goes sappers, engaging with the pioneers. Quickly hauling into cover, the Grenadiers moving in, up north, Fallschirm pioneers digging in, they're just trying to keep the fuel point out of British hands. Longer, the better. And of course, the British can just then try and play around it, or launch a larger attack to clear out those bloody Jerrys. And the Fallschirm pioneers, meanwhile, are just, I don't know, probably enjoying whatever's left in the cabinet. Look at this, Fitz, I found pasta and wine. What kind of wine? Greek. Does he make wine? I think so. Let's not touch it. Anyways, closing in. Subsam from the south, flamethrowers on the way here. Going in for the British Empire. That's going to be a bit nasty here for the Fallschirm Pioneer. There we go. Burning through the front door. Fallschirm Pioneers ducking out. Australians on heavy cover as well. Best you can really do is, I think, withdraw, because 2 versus 1 when you're the Germans and you're not the ones with the numerical advantage isn't ever going to end up well, especially when there's a flamethrower involved. But still, nicely some Fallschirm pioneers, but they're definitely rare for a reason, because for their cost, they're just not cutting it. Anyway, section closing in there with their Lee Enfields, got the subs closing as well there. Yeah, that's a retreat there from Lemon. Not really much else you can achieve there, except just wasting Fallschirm Pioneer. Grenadiers on the way, this and he did buy some time there, slowing down the enemy economy there, which again, could buy him precious moments to gain some kind of advantage in terms of tech before he gets swarmed by Humbers. That said, JBquib has 3 Australian sections up, which typically is really bad for Luftwaffe. Because with Luftwaffe, at least for me, you're trying to a extent rely on the Fallschirmjägers as well. And the Fallschirmjägers are particularly vulnerable to the Australians. Because of the way, for example, it's upgraded to get the scope Lee Enfields, which can basically ignore part of the cover, and the Fallschirmjägers are heavily dependent on cover. So with that little bit, they're having to heavily run already like being negated by the Australians. Plus being a 4-man squad, they can really risk getting like absolutely melted by the Australians. So I'm not saying it's going to be impossible for Lemon to make work. But if he's going to try and, use Fallschirmjägers, it's going to be a very, very uphill battle. Of course, the British have managed to turn the things around, they're hitting the field point. Fallschirm Pioneer on the move there. Gold see their map control now going much more aggressively. British lining up here for a bigger push. Strange moving forwards here. Of course, the flamethrower team does provide Lemon here with the ability to deny him responding much using the buildings, so the sappers nearby kind of do the same here versus him in return. Pack forward on the opposite, expecting a Humber. Moving in there, Pioneer Patriot White need to merge. There we go. Fallschirm Pioneer can as well there. Flamethrower team, sappers forced away. Definitely is going to help out the engagement, not much more significant for Lemon. We'll have to see what he does here. Sab's being hunted down. He's trying to get the YP. I don't think he can do it. Needs to merge with the Pioneers again. One Australian section of retreat here. There you go. Aim for a Pioneers merged. Sab is now on the move as well here. Pretty brutal engagement up north here. Need to get the other Pioneer section up before they get absolutely pulverized. Fallschirm moving to the field point here. Pioneers should have treated much sooner. Definitely a mistake, I think, there by Lemon. He might have hoped to use them as bait, but I think it's the wrong kind of bait there. Pack 40 on the way there for Lemon and the German Army, the 2nd Fallschirmjäger Division, 6th Fallschirmjäger Company. 2-pounder guns being made available. Medical station there. Pack 40 done. And we got the medical station upgrade for Lemon, which has gotten buffed to not require fuel at all. Yes, they pretty much realized that, yeah, having to compete between fuel and munitions, you're pretty much always going to pick munitions at the Wehrmacht because you need the fuel for, you know, stuff. So, they made it just manpower only, which I think is fine. So, Pioneers, of course, a bit dinged up by some mines down there. Thumbs up to that. They should have been this 45. Fallschirm Pioneer, they're busy. The Fallschirm Pioneers and the Fallschirmjäger Division were typically some of the division's best troops. So they basically expect them not just being new troops, but assault troops. So they were typically some of the elite, you know, for specialized assault roles. That would have been alongside the Fallschirmjäger's reconnaissance troops or the Fallschirmjäger Aufklärer, I believe. Which, you know, the game doesn't even feature. I know, rude. Pioneers are being pushed back here by the Australians. They're going hard here. Which is also, like, typically that one thing. Like, typically in a division, some of the more elite units were typically also the reconnaissance troops. Panzergrenadiers for Lemon. No Fallschirmjägers. Probably wants to write the new buff. We can blame him. Certainly versus the Australians. Might work out if the buff is good enough. But there you go. Big Australian push here. Also, trying to hit the cutoff point. I think it's a smart move here. Pack 40 hanging back, just in case for that Humber. Obviously, had to prepare for that Humber. They could do a lot of damage. Mines exploding here, ripping through Australian feet. Large Empires quickly focused on with the Australians, quickly taking a lot of damage there. We got the Panzer Grenadiers ready here. Stuart Light Tank on the way for JBquib. Sangar walls being hulled out, thrown down there. Panzer is probably going to move on here. No, they're not heading northward to respond to this. Or perhaps he's waiting to like get a bigger movement going at the same time, a larger, more difficult to deal with force. As a fun side note, but Fallschirmjäger units would, as the war gone, also receive like a notable number of assault rifles, and they would sort of form up their own assault rifle units. Fun fact. There. But either way, big push there. He's definitely looking to like make that big swing there against JBquib here rather than you feed his units in piecemeal. Panzer with the Sturmgewehr ripping through the Australian section there, pack running in here. Gives it away, but also to keep the Panzers moving while the pack grabs points there. So it's a bit of a clever maneuver there, I think, out of Lemon here. Right on mine there, Sappers getting back to one. Panzer's losing Fritz and Helmut.
We have territories exposed out
and we do get the MG-15 upgrade there, the Maschinengewehr 15, which despite what the name would indicate was not like an MG from the year 1915, it was rather a aircraft machine. Maybe it was there, but either way, it wasn't, at least by that point. Either way, it was a machine gun they basically had to spare after from the aircraft when they moved to bigger guns for those machine guns. And so at some point they just decided, you know what, we're going to turn them into light machine guns for the infantry. And so you got some larger, more unwieldy light machine in some regards, but they had roughly the same rate of fire as like, you know, an MG-34-42. Sort of in between that. So, fun fact. Second to light on JBquib going hard for the British Empire. Australian defence by seen a significant rise there, due in part to more people realising, hang on, a repair with urgent light vehicles is really good. Plus, of course, the Australians. So people just remembering a repair is incredibly good, as I think just seen Australian defence like just have a massive rise in the metagame stocks. Second to light tank almost done there for JBquib.
Shot tank available on left.
There you go, Fallschirm Pioneer with their MG-15. And typically, Fallschirm Pioneer, that machine gun definitely equipped like something like an MG-34-42. As a side note, MG-15 is more likely equipped like, you know, grenadiers of like, you know, less than great quality. So, fun little note there.
Infantry closing on us!
Stood moving in here in the south, second stood moving in there, got a repair, survival kits there for them. No sign of any ability picks here, like further out of the Fallschirm Panzer Lemon, no Fallschirmjägers, no MG-40s, nothing. Meanwhile, JBquib with infantry training, thumbs up.
We're under fire!
I want to, like, you know, not run to the sappers here. Say that's definitely a bit risky play and not ideal there by Lemon. Like, Got rifles, got like machine gun. Try and stay at a distance from the guys with the submachine guns. Pro tactical tip there from the Imperial Dan himself.
Training complete.
And we
Our
got Lemon
infantry
going
will
straight
be
for the
better
Panzer
prepared.
Company. No Stooks to him, tragically. Probably lost some Starstorm, so
Light
guess we're not
vehicles
looking
are
at
receiving training,
Fallschirmjägers,
Commander.
tragically enough. It's not the FD-42 ones in a sense. I mean, Starstorm and MD-42s and G-43s probably been more accurate, like how most Fallschirmjägers would have been equipped, by the way. Fun sight, I think. Which does make me wish at some point they just add a Fallschirmjäger skin for the Starstorm. I honestly think that'd be really cool.
The beggars are threatening
Some really cool uniforms they could use, particularly late war ones for that, so, you know, quick little side note there. Anyways, Vickers on the way there for JBquib. I do feel Lemon is obviously wants to concentrate to the British because they're on one-on-one a lot of the time. You're going to have a really bad time, but I think he's playing perhaps a bit too packed here, meaning he's can struggle a bit with map control, giving his opponent more room to, like, you know, outmaneuver him. Around it. Pack 40 scores are fantastic, and through a light tank shocking the crew and ruining the T. Oh Lord Jenkins, the T! The Germans bloody well ruined it! Crikey! Fire back! They don't have teaser. I meant shoot at the Germans, you twat! MD-42 there, which I missed actually. Archie Pioneers plan to drop to the south of the flamethrower here. Got the number 69 percussive grenade off here. I think you'll need to get these chaps healed up. Alongside the Grenadiers. Falchion Pioneers can heal themselves. The veterans 1 and 2 can their Fallschirmjägers is where to go for them. He's just flooding command points, so I think he's just going for the cheap reinforcements ability. Which, I mean, who can blame him? It's a pretty good one.
We're losing a munitions point.
Lemon with the 6-pounder gun, of course, goals go here for the Starstorm squad. Again, some hardened Starstorm could be way to get slightly ahead of his opponent infantry-wise. Of course, even there, a lot of Australians can melt your Starstorm if you aren't careful. Just unlucky.
The lads are accounted for.
So a bit of quiet here, so being built up. It's probably might also be setting up for a Panzer IV as soon as possible. Rushing out the might of the Panzerkampfwagen against his erstwhile opponents. 465 to 92. Pioneer's about to get absolutely perforated here. Panzer's moving in here. Pioneer's about to go down, and down they go. Stinging blow here from JBquib and the British Army. Tally ho, chaps. Horses on the move, he's supporting the sappers. Another Pack 40 for Lemon, which is a bit odd considering how close he is to, like, just the Panda 4 here. He might technically end up delaying the Panda 4 going for the Pack 40 here, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure that makes... Well, I mean, it's not going to be obviously double packs on a map like this, so it's not a terrible idea. Again, a part of me just, you know, thinks he probably should be delaying his Panda 4 more than necessary. Also, at this point, he can go for the cheap reinforcements ability, so he probably should pop that ability as soon as possible, because, well, he obviously wants cheap reinforcements.
Doctrine shall keep us in this fight a little longer, don't you think?
That's definitely going to save him a lot of manpower if he gets there going soon. Bishops of JBquib now is an interesting choice, not the most common here. I think they even nerfed it a bit, the Bishop, his experience game, but obviously, small, dense map does make artillery like the Bishop very attractive. Yeah, I think Lemon there needs to, like, pick that reinforcements
We
ability.
can now construct Bishop self-propelled artillery.
Because, again, it's a sort of ability that the faster you get it can really generate, you know, a lot of value. So, if you're going to, like, aim for it like he is, clearly, you really need to, like, pick it as soon as bloody well possible. This big old head-on blob assault there by Lemon. Certainly makes the lack of cheap reinforcements a bit further, you know, of an odd decision there, an oversight by Lemon. Australians push back here. Might be he's planning to go for the Sturmpanzerfear now. Go finally picked it. I mean, you know, definitely cut that out at least half a minute to a minute sooner. Which again could result in some manpower savings.
To enemy action.
I think he might actually be aiming for the Sturmpanzer 4. Probably not feeling too worried about the Süßballs in Spain, the second pack 40. And of course, great blasting through the infantry support weapons. There's a sort of logic there to it for Lemon, obviously.
The enemy has claimed a sector.
North bit of standoff here, machine gun versus machine gun. I don't know if either's actually aware of the other. Oh, he does actually go for the Panzer IV. Well, that makes the second pack 40 just slightly less salient.
Infantry closing on us!
But
Enemy rifle!
I digress. South side, Sam's poking up, even as we've got Lemony pushing forwards. Got the Australians flanking with the Panzers, MG-15 wielding Fudging Punch Grenades, supporting grenades on the trade path here. Got that big boom in, Panther almost done, grenades, Fudging Pioneers really should support, they do not, and it ends up with a pretty swift retreat in the end. After the initial success is worn off, Panther 4 though, right around the corner here for Lemon, got the strafing run. Dudes from northwards, Panther 4 almost there, and we got JBquib with a Bishop. There you go, lots of marksman shots here, plus the scope rifles, definitely forcing the German troops to the draw. But we got the Panther 4 here out of Lemon and does fast land. Rolling in, letting loose of the main gun and machine gun. Up north, Stuart's rolling ahead here, backed up the machine gun. Bishop almost around the corner here. Axing back, Benedict's in trouble with the double Stuarts. And Panther in trouble with the 6-pounder gun there.
Bishop artillery carrier and crew on standby.
Fresh with troops out of the base. We got 149 and 88 here. You can see Lemon starting to follow it behind here. JBquib in terms of victory points. Playing a slightly fairer margin. Mines exploding. Bishops blasting away there and delivering a high explosive. Oh, bunching up his troops right there. There's a not great move there by Lemon. He gets lucky here, I think, but this is sort of situation like, you know, I think looked somewhat differently. He's been suffering massive losses there. Probably no wipes, but you could have been forced to like withdraw all 3 of these squads in teams almost immediately. So not exactly what I'd call ideal. Back reinforcement healing, moving to the Panthers, infantry flank around here. Trying I think to cover the retreat path, the troops on the Panther will go straight on. Panthers with the 6-pounder gun strafing as well here, hitting the Tommy's heart. Panther going for it. Got the slight stun shot there at the Stuart. Panzer's in trouble with the sappers though. Quick left to withdraw there.
We're losing a victory point.
Stuart's on the run. Could try and move the packs up and anticipated path and hit them maybe.
You have command points available.
149 versus 279.
Victory point is in enemy hands.
Not pursuing the Stuarts, at least not sure where they are. There we go, the wheel himself to get the pack 40 in position. Schnell Ludwig, it's a Panzer up there, Kanone. It's a Tommies. It's coming for us. Und a Weissbier. I don't think the Tommies drink Weissbier. Have you seen what they eat? Of course they drink Weissbier. It's a swine. Don't appreciate it too. Going straight for the base here, pack 40 ready for the second Panther 1 for Lemon, and the second Fudge negative shot. Certainly highlighting that one trick at times, if you can get away, might be unsure, can be just to basically drive straight for your opponent's base. Like, it's a risky maneuver, but sometimes, because your opponent's all got the units on sites on the front line, and again, it depends a bit on like how the map is set up, but you can like sometimes just occasionally get away with just swing right through the opponent's face here because they just weren't anticipated. Not saying it's a guaranteed maneuver, but as you can see there sometimes can work reasonably well. Here, of course, he got narrowly caught with the grenadiers. But otherwise, I mean, successful. 440 was 267. Artillery crawled in here. Well, a light strafing one really. But also, like, in a way, just forced opponents like withdraw some units to the base, meaning the front line got pretty much like stripped of like troops as well. So this kind of can end up serving like, you know, dual purpose. Not only necessarily like percent all of some units, but it can also cause the opponents like just withdraw so much from the front line to deal with a potential threat to their own base.
vehicle crews at once.
227 to 440. He needs to get those victory points back up. Vehicle training as well here for JBquib. To both boost the suit and the bishop, as it also utilise that same level of veterancy.
Victory point lost.
Mansions at the faction here, thumbs up. And Sarah probably should be careful about like standing right on top of the pine while you're getting shot at by a light tank. The tick goes on the pen to 4, almost costing him the pens as well there.
The enemy is down to 200 points. Carry on.
Shoots on the way, thumbs up to Lemon. Almost got the steward here. And we got German troops are going straight for the anti-tank guns to get rid of those. Be a massive winning for Lemon. And a massive blow there to JBquib and the British Empire. Almost got one of them.
One of our anti-tank guns has
Got
been
it.
destroyed.
Vickers though, kind of saving the day here. Holding both squads and Pentables to just go to support here, so they can recruit. Then that Pentables got the 2 entertainers to get another strafing around here. Yeah, not enough here to really make any significant impact. That Panzer IV is going to need some heavy repairs. The other one's going to need some light one. You also might want to try and push for that northern victory point, as the entire north side of the map is, at least for now, fairly lightly defended.
We can conduct
They
supply
got
runs
it.
to secure additional resources.
Bit of quality besides it's we're guessing that Lemon's plans to go for the loiter. But obviously a very good ability, if very cheesy on a map like this, very small again, very cramped. Loiters in the right position can be really bad news for the opponent.
The beggars are threatening a munitions point.
140 to 159, we got another machine on the way here for JBquib. Got the Panther that shoots and fixed up. The on the side skirts were initially sort of invented in response to Soviet anti-tank rifles in the Eastern Front, as the Cylon was not thick enough to like deal with that. So they would add armored side skirts to deal with that, as it were.
Lost.
They kept using them in part because to some extent they seem to be effective as, you know, allied bazookas and I guess their own Panther files. Plus, I imagine there's also just the psychological boost that made the crews feel a bit safer with them on. So, not all crews like them, in fact, would occasionally just remove them as well because they're just so bulky, but, I don't know. In some variety of the second round in the war, and the Panther forced themselves to move to wire mesh side skirts on the hull, simply versus the bazookas and such. So, little fun fact there. Stooks would enough not go to wire mesh, but there are some experimentation with Stooks and various types of armored side skirts, including ones with little small rollers to make them more flexible in case, like, you know, they come into contact with the terrain. And of course, you also had stuff like little tricks like this, where they slightly remove a bit of the initial arcade to make the first wheel and the treads more accessible for maintenance. So some fun little bits there, and that's actually a really nice detail that the ones who, like, you know, made the Panther IV model, you know, nailed. So 2 thumbs up to that person.
Victory point belongs to the
40-44 was 127. So that's getting mauled and annihilated. A brutal push there. Fortune Pioneers could try and grab it. Theoretically, just drop a satchel charge. I think for JBquib, it's probably just going to allow for the Archer, which seems to become a favourite of these type of, like, you know, Australian defence builds, just relying, you know, the infantry, the anti-tank guns, until you get out Archers. A very CoH3-esque strategy, unfortunately. Archer makers, and, you know, that's actually the fragmentation bombing run he went for. Good ability, but I think very underrated compared to the sheer ease and simplicity of fragmentation brought by the Lloyd. And no, he actually went for the company command post, actually going for foot guard. So thumbs up. Not just going on the Archer, 2 thumbs up, in fact. I do think Lemon would benefit from Starstorm here, or a Sturmpanzer. Oh, lost a Panda 4. Martin's Grenadier Squad as well here. Ah, yeah. Ripped apart with the Australians. One section I bet you 3 where they get some very powerful bonuses. Basically come like the Pathfinders of the 8 lane from CoH3, where units on a certain amount of health basically get like immediately killed by them. Very, very powerful. I mean, holy shit! He almost got part his own men there. But yeah, kind of like Ninja can just really quick, like, use a lot of units, means a lot of Australians can just melt your army in a matter of seconds. It makes it hard. It makes it hard to rely on your infantry from some as the Wehrmacht. Another Panther 4 more. Still no additional infantry out of Lemon. I feel like that's a bit of an oversight. Wrecking the Pack 49, those bloody Jerrys there to take on Fudging Pioneers. Only 6 kills, but again, the MG-15 upgrade really just does not add, like, any significant DPS. I like that they tried comparing it, you know, with how they want the Bren gun to perform. The problem is, like, even if they technically got it very similar stats, it ignores the fact the Allies just have a lot more received accuracy bonuses, making them just a lot less effective by default. So, yeah, it's still not very good, like, machine guns for its cost. They're going to need to, like, significantly buff the MG-15 for it to be worth it. Because right now, it's definitely not worth it still. I'd still recommend you just going for the grenade launcher. It's still much better than the MG-15. You just don't upgrade them at all. That will be flight repairs. Still consider them Starstorm, consider Fudge Mega Squad. Plenty of paths to consider for Lemon. Hunters moving in. 14 cash. Substance inflicted. We got these chaps at 26. There we go. Starstorm for Lemon. 2 thumbs up though. Definitely we want the officers' quarters to make them just a bit tougher thanks to the Veterans 1 bonus, and probably want to keep them at least for a while. Clear of the Veterans, the 3 Australians were pretty sure going to do like some incredible amounts of damage to them very fast. Starstorm squad almost done. While he's repairing up this Panther Kampfwagen 4. There you go, Starstorm ready. Cover that Panther 4 there. Got 420 on 1, really not looking great for Lemon in terms of map control and victory points.
They only have 100 points.
Time fall behind casualty wise rather aggressively. Flag raised. Ready to move on. What's the task?
Got some mines down.
A little too easy, hey?
Requisitioning Archer.
And there we go. Got the Archer out. 17 pounder gun mounted on the Valentine tank chassis, but backwards. Need to fix up that other Panther fort as well. Being a bit quiet here. Archer inching forwards.
Engines chugging along. We're through.
So an Archer straight from
The enemy
another
have
Panther for
75
Lemon.
points left. Don't let up now. Archer tank destroyers are available.
Yeah, Lemon, I think, just isn't sure where to exactly strike, and JBquib, I mean, he's got the big lead in most regards, so he's probably not feeling too pressured to really do too much. It's really coming down to Lemon, like, making a really good push. The question is, can Lemon do that? In this case, he's clearly waiting for a 3rd Panther 4 to provide that, you know, necessary weight and gravity behind the attack he's planning here. Plus, he's got the fragmentation bomb lined up as well. So a good push here with the right angle could potentially do a lot of damage to his opponent.
Mine's late.
Oh, that's it. Probably should not bunch up troops like that, knowing his opponent's artillery. I feel like this is a great way just to lose a lot of infantry to a few stray artillery rounds. Okay, moving in. Off the score to the grid. We got 55 points left. Lemon needs to hit hard for Deutschland. Moving into the fighting pies versus swinging mines. Thumbs up. That's it. The assault has definitely been ill-coordinated.
Engineers out of contact.
Got some sappers, but lost the Panther 4 there.
Reports show the enemy.
Yeah, the attack is definitely happening in a very awkward, piecemeal manner. It did have some success, did overcome here the initial line of JBquib, as it was clearly not anticipating such an effort in the south here. That said, it's going to be costly here for Lemon now. Already lost one, Panther lose the second one. Yup, down, kaput. Hunter Kampfwagen kaput. Fisher there being hunted down by the 6-pounder gun there now in German control. Good shot, almost got it.
Heavy machine gun has been deployed for you.
Another machine gun going for the other 6-pounder gun. Crew wipe, foot guards on the flank here. Panther being fixed up, fresh waves, Australians hammering out. Starts with immediately taking so much damage there.
Report.
Obviously there's 3 like ace Australian sections firing at it, but you know, it's still really fast. Immense burst value damage. There we go, wiped out. Not really much we could do there. It got the anti-tank, the promise of the Australians, but that's also going to be all gone there, if anything. So situation for Lemon just got aggressively bad, I think is the best way to put it. Absolutely horrifyingly bad. Here, and now we got the Shins moving in here. Yup, gun crew beat it cleared out. Panzer goes there, about to get wiped out. Grenadiers as well here. But there you go, Vickers here saves the day. Really close call there for Lemon. Might get the other Vickers here, which could have again also up with the Australian block. And got the Vickers there. Needs to get his hands on it. He also needs to either destroy this gun or get his hands on it. We could just destroy both of them. Might give him a bit more room here versus JBquib, but he's still going to have like a lot of Australians, the foot guards, Bishop, the Stooth, and the Archers, so they're not going to be exactly smooth sailing here for Lemon. I think the losses he suffered. 50-15, pretty much doing no damage here to the foot guards almost. At least for a while. It seems to be doing a bit now, but again, just not worth it. Such a not worth it upgrade, basically. Another Panther 4 there for Lemon. Like, he needs to significantly boost it. And honestly, I think he needs to like significantly boost the flagship Pioneers. Anyways, another Panther 4 there for Lemon, and that's Vaterland. But he's struck me alongside the second flagship with Sean, and looks like they didn't make it narrowly. Machine gun in trouble. In there, at least nicely lined up there. Little flank straight, thumbs up to Lemon there, at least quick merge, but we got the Bishop. Pretty much running this all kind of moot almost. Ace Panzer Grenadiers for the Sturmgewehre. Need to treat those Grenadiers going for the 6-pounder gun here. You want to focus that?
An anti-tank gun.
And avoid some mine, good mining calls here, but JBquib 2 thumbs up. We got 380 versus 43. Situation for Lemon remains quite frankly desperate. Picks up the Panzerkampfwagen. Up north here, got Lemon's machine gun team leading the siege, but the Mighty's doing light tank. $380 versus 43. The Australians. Rolling hat for Das Vaterland. Great shot, the Australians. 79 is 43. Pin 76 is 43. Threatening the opponent's base, pack 40 of 11. That did something, but there you go. It's supposed to flank to the archer. Base Bolton going to fire the height ability there. Did 2 thumbs up. Right fire there. And fun fact, sometimes self-propellatory did find itself forming like that. For example, there's a case in Normandy where a bunch of Hummels were basically pressed into tank destroyer service and completely, I think, wrecked the company of Shermans. I believe. Something like that, anyways. So, you know, definitely a thing. Definitely a thing. I suspect it probably would have more a German thing, considering how often artillery probably got into trouble compared with Allied artillery. South charge here. Oh, DD's moved there by Lemon. Thumbs up. Oh, they got the stars from them, I mean, that's probably going to be a bit of a boost to them, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough against what's up against them now. Rushing the Panda forcing the top dimensions, one ability here.
One of our vehicles has been knocked out.
Absolute brutality here. Got the veteran ability moving in here in front of the Panda Force. Turn around the anti-tank guns. Probably should actually focus that over the Steward here, if anything. Got it. Steward. Spaceship moving in. Got the anti-tank gun.
One of our anti-tank guns is gone.
Absolute carnage here, 43. Panda Force letting loose. Absolutely heroic effort here for the Panzer crews. Putting up a hell of a fight here against the British. 11 needs to get more of the map back. Honestly, it might be worth dropping in some fighter makers or fighter companies just to start grabbing some more of the other victory point here. Try and turn the Titans' opponent. Just get some more troops on the field, honestly, though. You could probably also just go for another Panther 4 or the Sturmpanzer 4. But whatever the case, he definitely needs to like start spending resources. I don't think floating at this stage is ideal. Okay, another Panther 4 for Lemon, and as far as land, though, again, not a lot of troops behind this. There's also like an actual argument against decent troops up here. Grab stuff. Another arch idea for JBquib and the British Empire. Straight to mine there. Guess a few grenadiers are going to puff.
Ammunition point has been overrun.
Also, they still have yet to add the remaining of these, full leaf skins. And the thing is, like, in the previous patch, they actually did show them off. They have them there. They just aren't giving them to us. Another Panther 4 there for Lemon. There you go. That one out. Straight into mine.
Archer tank destroyers are available.
Absolutely rotten luck there for Lemon. And again, could also go for the officers' quarters here for the Panzer Company. Would benefit the Panzers a bit there. The part there you go. Looks like though JBquib's had enough. He's going to go on the offensive soon. Or maybe his own debate. Lemon into making a mistake again. Who knows? Arching Penny moving in, quickly being routed.
Jerry's not giving up without a fight. We're down to 300 points.
Machine gun team down, obliterated by mighty British artillery.
Taking fire.
And go quickly proving the Vickers. 295 sworn fleet. Direct hit here on the Panther 4 by the Archer. Going straight at it. Other Panther is moving as well here. Straight and secondly locked out. Another arch out. Lemon. JBquib's about to go hard into Lemon with it. Right into another mine. Front of the base jump and the arch with a second base archer nearby. Absolute mess here for Lemon. Pretty sure more mine troops out. These mines are doing massive work here for JBquib. 2 thumbs up to him for this great mining. Like, absolutely astounding work. And really is just doing so much work here versus Lemon for sure.
Almost ready to go. Upgrades, yeah.
And of course, Lemon's handling of his infantry is also doing immense work here for JBquib.
We're losing a munitions point to enemy action.
279 versus 43.
And we're ready to
More Starstorm for Lemon, 2 thumbs up. Machine's just sitting in the blood. They're getting blasted, probably just retreaty, and might be too late with the Australians. No!
The enemy has
Somehow managed it!
tank destroyers are available.
Somehow damn well managed it. Starstorm right around the corner. Going to the double arches, almost got the Paratroopers immediately.
The beggars
Reminding
are
me,
threatening a
they
victory
did
point.
buff the elephant, but I don't think that's going to help it make it any more viable than 1v1, to be honest.
Rifles! They're having a go!
Not the way they did it, anyways.
Come on, you bastards!
Rainier's about to get mauled by the Australians, Panzer charge in. Quickly getting focused down, we can get a strafing around here thing. No, it's a fragmentation bombing. Holy shit.
Victory point is in.
What are you doing, Lemon? Ah, God damn it. I think that did more damage to himself than he did to the enemy. My God, Jurgens and Luftwaffe are coming for us! And he lost his ace Panzer Grenadiers. At this point, it's tough to see Lemon pull off. Not impossible, but it's getting tough. He's like blowing up his own men with the Luftwaffe. Like that. Got the heavily MG-laden Falchion Pioneers moving ahead here.
Point's been taken.
Another Vickers. Rotating the Archer there. Vickers there. Caught on the way from JB. That's his Panther thing to the Archers. Moving in a pack through here.
Crew are ready for orders.
2726, Lemon is refusing to give up. He's fighting to the bitter end, it seems.
25 points left.
And blasting that point. Just to dissuade Lemon from like considering looking at it. There you go. Falchion Pioneers, 2 machine guns, including an MG42 from the Starstorm. Prying at the sappers, and they're not exactly doing a lot of damage. Meanwhile, the Australians are up, they just start, ripping them apart.
Point is being overrun.
I mean, I know. Again, like, something's not adding up. Let's just put it like that. Something's not adding up. I leave it to the viewer to figure out what it is. I don't think you need to be a forensic auditor, what it is, bookkeeper, to figure that out.
Only 10 points left.
9 points left.
We are losing a victory point to enemy.
And the ball down. Mixing loose here. Absolute disaster for Lemon now. His units are pretty much melting here. And a massive pace. Ace Archer. And the ball down. I'd say that is probably Lemon's last remaining chance of doing anything with this match. GG, game over. There you go. Brutal first match of the new patch. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something from it. This is a Pro Link. Cheers and see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Bye everyone.